Now, once again, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're tuning in from. Today, we want to talk about an exchange that has launched a project in DeFi, right? What is DeFi? Decentralized finance. In fact, this is the world's first, right, of its kind. This is the world's first Web3 Olympus Dao project fully backed by a 13-year-old crypto exchange. So I'm sure many of you have heard about the Olympus Dao model of staking, right? That's a project that was launched in 2021, has still been paying out passive rewards through staking over the last 5 years and is still active till today. So there's a lot of lessons to be learned that we know success leaves clues. So in that process, many other projects that wanted to create a successful staking protocol also copied the Olympus DAO model, right? Most popular that we know of is, and I'll go right here real quick, is the Origin LGNS, as you can see, and also WebKey DAO. Now, these two projects were also promoted by Ju.com, this very exchange that we are going to discuss today, and their own Olympus DAO project that they have created. So you can see they already understand the space. In fact, when it comes to crypto, no one understands crypto, and this is just my opinion based on what we see going on. No one understands crypto more than exchanges, right? That's why Coinbase was put in at the front charge to help navigate with the lawmakers on how to pass a favorable crypto bill. The banks were not in position. They understand money, not crypto. The exchanges, that's where everyone buys crypto. That's where everyone trades crypto on spot, also on leverage, right? And this is what Ju.com has been providing for the last 13 years. So they understood the success behind these projects. In fact, they were the first to promote Origin LGNS on their exchange when they started paying at 7,900% APR. They were also the first to promote WebKey DAO on their exchange when they started paying out at 16,000% APR. Today, they have learned that success also leaves clues. And because of that, they use the same Olympus DAO model to launch their own decentralized banking protocol, right? So we'll dive into what it is, but real quick, I want to touch on a few things. Number one being that this exchange is very, very credible, very liquid. This is not one of those we have an exchange projects and you cannot prove that they're an exchange. This is the real deal. 13 years in the game alone should tell you a lot. They've done about $8.5 billion in trading volume over the last 24 hours. So they are very liquid, right? This project is not a money grab from what it looks like because they are already doing very, very well as an exchange. It's not like they are crashing and looking for ways to grab something to go. One thing I also want to touch on is the experience of the CEO, because we know that when it comes to corporations, who is at the helm of affairs is very, very important, right? So here we look at the background of this CEO. She's extensive background. She's worked with the top luxury consumer goods at the top with the company called CXG. She's held roles at the World Bank, so she has banking relationships and she understands finance to a higher level. Also, she's worked at China Telecom. That tells you that she understands marketing, branding, and communications also on a higher level. And she's been featured on Token 2049 and multiple other platforms speaking about her philosophy, which is to simplify complex crypto trading, launch the JuPay ecosystem. JuPay is their banking infrastructure on the centralized exchange. Now they are integrating everything on their blockchain. This is where JBank becomes critical in the growth and development of their blockchain. They launched their blockchain just 1 year ago, right? So I want to touch on something very, very important here. And then I want to break down something that I did some research on so we can have some a background or a concept as to where this thing can go, right? So we have a 13-year-old exchange. They launched their blockchain last year. They're competing with the likes of the Solanas, is a layer one, right? Ethereum, Polygon, Avalanche, BNB. Now, why would people leave already existing chains? I'm talking hundreds of millions of wallets that are already and having fun and being profitable using the entire ecosystems on all these different blockchains. Why would they come to your blockchain? We know many blockchains, when they launch, they adopt the model of airdrops. We've seen blockchains give out hundreds of millions of dollars worth of tokens in airdrops tens of millions, all through the reason why they want to create adoption, right? They let people come and use the blockchain. They want you to click this, swap this, use this bridge, use this. And after doing all these activities for weeks or months, then they finally airdrop people. Juchain decided to take a different approach. They went ahead to launch this Olympus Dao model to attract people, hence they can give out more rewards through this smart contract protocol. This is what I've observed from my own understanding, right? Now here, we look at the Binance strategy, right? What did Binance do that made them successful? And we can look at the same blueprint and we can see the same thing happen here. Binance, right, launched their exchange, 250 plus million users, right? Even more than that right now today is how they built their exchange. But then the mechanism for their success had to do with their blockchain because they launched the BNB coin, use it for gas fees, put tokens on launch pads on chain, right? And they forced, look at this word, this is all research from AI. They forced rapid organic adoption of their blockchain. They had timing as one of the reasons why they were successful. They started first, right? After Ethereum, they were probably the next EVM smart contract blockchain that you can build applications on. So they had that as something that helped them. But their goal, this mechanism was launch your token, put it as the fees for everything, and force people who have to use your chain to do other stuff to get involved in your token. Now, the success factors is deep liquidity, an aggressive launchpad incubator, and a wide array of dApps made it the premier hub for retail crypto trading. Now, what is Ju.com doing? Ju.com has the same strategy. They use their exchange alongside their layer one blockchain, where they have infused the ability to connect the centralized ecosystem into their decentralized ecosystem. Rather than just mirroring Binance retail focus, they incorporated the Ju.com launchpad. And they have strategic partnerships like that of the Growth Protocol, right? And they're to specialize in early stage asset issuance and RWA tokenization. And not just that, this Olympus Dao staking model, right? So this is one of the things that we are seeing here. And also they are able to bridge Web3 with traditional finance because they have their own ecosystem. X brokers is where they've tokenized stocks in the form of being able to trade stocks on the exchange. That means they can bring tokenized stocks on chain, right? They also have their own payment rails, their banking rails through JuCard, payment solutions. And what's a better place to put it right now? The whole world is looking at DeFi, not CeFi. Hence, they are putting it on chain. You see, and Ju.com's foundation emphasizes on-chain transparency, right? So these are a lot of things that we are looking at. We are saying, look, a lot of people will tell you this could be the next Binance. Think about it. This entire ecosystem could be the next BNB, right? Because what happened to BNB? From like $10, they went all the way to $600 after the blockchain became adopted. And then all-time high about $1,000. You're sitting at 87 billion in market cap, $1 billion in trading volume on the BNB token in the last 24 hours. Let's compare that to what we have with the juchain ecosystem. The Ju.com token, only a year old, launched with the blockchain. Market cap, only 60 million. Over 1,000x potential from here to here. Now, what else? Trading volume already almost $1 billion. How are they getting all this trading volume? Here's the other part. This token is the gas fee token of the blockchain, yes. It's also the token that pays all the trading fees on the exchanges. All the trading fees, they run it through the token first before they use it to pay for the fees. So they are forcing liquidity and transactions through their native token. Okay. So let's just give you a concept of what we have here. So now let's dive into JBank, because JBank is a layer on top of their blockchain created to create mass adoption. Why? Because their blockchain currently only has about 4 million wallets compared to BNB's 800 million or 600 million, depending on how you want to look at it, right? They have a lot of technology already. They have their app available. We know that JBank is a Web3 self-custody banking protocol using the Olympus Dao model. But there are some things that they did differently here. And when you analyze it, you're going to appreciate what they have done. They have solved the problem of the price drop that is very, very evident in all Olympus Dao protocols, right? You see Olympus Dao went massively to $3,000 a token, now at $19. We see the same thing with Origin LGNS, very successful project, still paying our rewards till today from $84 to $3. So the question is, what are they going to do different to ensure that they do not go through these same or similar experiences? We're going to look at their token, folks, and we'll dive into how we're able to earn real quick. We're going to go on to Aave.ai, and we're going to look at the JUP token. This is the token that we are staking, okay? That is the JBank token, not to be confused with the token on Solana called Jupiter, right? So real quick, we can see this token has also had its own massive sell-off from $12 all-time high when it launched. Why? They did a pre-launch in Asia where they started the exchange with their loyal customers to test the Olympus Dao model for about 4 months. They tested it out. They realized that, okay, this is amazing, but we need to fix certain things because of the volatility. They relaunched the entire smart contract when it had a CertiK audit and launched the JUP and its entire ecosystem, and it's only 6 months old. This was done in November, right? So now a lot of people were part of the pre-sale, right? The pre-launch. What happened? Sell, sell, sell. But it stopped at 40%. Why didn't it just keep going down? It bounced back up and it's been going up since, folks, right? A little bit of up and downs, but it's maintaining its consistency. And we'll show you why with the mechanisms in a little bit. So now, how do we earn, right? We know that with these models, there's a token you have to buy, and then you have to stake, and then you can earn profits every day. Now, quick disclaimer, nothing here I'm going to provide is financial advice, folks. My job here is just to educate. As you can see already, I'm just looking to give you guys as much information as possible so you are well informed on what you can do with this ecosystem, right? So nothing here is financial advice. Crypto has its risk. Volatility is one of them. And also in this industry, we have seen so many bad actors create projects and destroy communities. But we are in a good place now knowing that we are working with an exchange that has credibility over the last 13 years, right? So here, users have 3 options, right? You can stake in 3 separate contracts. The first one requires you not to lock your capital, so we call it flexible. We get paid 3 times a day, every 8 hours, right? So in a day, you earn 0.3%. That's the return you get from this first option. Now there's an option, or I wouldn't say an option, but this smart contract has the ability to compound automatically. So users do not have to come and withdraw profits and restake it and all that kind of stuff just to compound. You simply let your profits accumulate, because here our staking is in a separate wallet from our profits. So staking is in one wallet, the profits all go into a separate wallet, right? Into a separate wallet. And that is how we are able to compound, because once the profits are here and you don't do a withdrawal, let's say in the next 24 hours, you don't make a withdrawal, the smart contract will pay you the ROI based on the total in the staking and the profit. But this allows you to be able to withdraw your profits anytime you want, because it's not attached to your capital and your profits are never locked. Okay, so here you realize that you can earn 9.41% if you allow compounding to take effect over the 30-day period. Also within 6 months, if there's no withdrawal made, you'll notice that your account starts to grow faster. You earn over 71%. And then within a year, you have 198% return. So here, let's say you started with about $10,000 worth of tokens. You have the ability to withdraw $30 every day. Or if you just want to be long term, within the year, you can just come and collect, we'll just call this $20,000 worth of tokens, right? And your principal you can take out anytime. The next option is the 180-day contract. Now here, users are going to stake. So here, let's say you also put $10,000 worth of tokens. You're locking your capital in a 180-day contract. And this means that over the 180 days, if you want your capital back, just your capital, you have to wait for day 181. It unlocks, you unstake at no fee, and your capital is back in your wallet. Here, you earn more profits, right? 0.23 times a day. So about 0.6% every single day. Now, the same thing, you can withdraw that $60 worth of tokens every day, or you can just let it accumulate in this profit wallet, also compounded, right? So you realize that in a month, you have 19.7%. 6 months later down the line, 194%. A year down the line, 800%. So here, users are able to walk away with a whopping profit of about $80,000 worth of tokens. Now, what's the next option? Here, you have the option to stake for 365 days. Now, I can tell you, based on our community, what we've seen people do, 98, 99% of everyone chooses this model. And you understand why, right? Here, you earn the most for your buck. So same scenario, you decide to start with about $10,000 worth of tokens. You earn 0.3% 3 times a day. That is 0.9% a day. So you can withdraw that $90 every day worth of tokens. You can sell it, right? But you can also decide to let it grow at a faster rate. And at that point, you realize that you've earned 30.94% in a month within 6 months alone. 6 months alone, folks, you have 400% in tokens. So that means this very $10,000 would have ended up paying out about $40,000 in rewards within 6 months, which you can also just withdraw all of that. But if you're playing the long-term game, then you notice that within a year, because of compounding, right? We know compounding is they call it the eighth wonder of the world. Then things start to become very, very liquid. At this point, you would have earned 2,500%. That is about 25x. So what does that mean? Your same 10,000 you started with would have earned about $250,000 worth of tokens, right? So quick example, my sponsor started about 6+ months ago. $100,000 he staked in this 365-day contract. And he showed me, he said, Kojo, look, I have close to $600,000 in tokens sitting in the wallet. So the compounding is real. It's just math, numbers. And here, the principle is you are accumulating assets at a fast rate. So asset accumulation is what we are doing here. And like I learned from some of my mentors who are in Origin, LGNS, asset accumulation will always beat price appreciation. What does that mean, right? You see, when you have an opportunity to accumulate an asset like JUP, which we can use as an example, for example, Bitcoin, right? You know, early on in the beginning, when people were excited about Bitcoin, some people were buying Bitcoin. While people were buying Bitcoin, there was another group who understood what was going on. They went and bought GPUs to mine Bitcoin. Big difference. One buys an asset to hold it, to wait for a price to appreciate. The other invest in the technology that manufactures or prints tokens on a daily basis at a fast rate because the evaluation of the project was so low that they were probably getting 5 coins a day, a week, or whatever, right? But today, you know, the story is different. So Bitcoin ended up paying billions and multi-billions and hundreds of millions to individuals who were just accumulating the asset. And today, they do not care if the price goes to 20,000, 40,000, 80,000, 100,000. They can sell and not blink because they are still accumulating the asset. Folks, it's the exact same thing we're doing here. So we understand that, yes, there might be volatility, but even with volatility, if the price of the token Let's say you waited till the end of the year, had $250,000 worth of tokens, and the price dropped by 80%. 80%. Very unlikely, but we're going to use that scenario, right? And you understand why we say unlikely when we go into the dynamics that's been put in the smart contract. You still walk away with the 80% drop in price. And if somebody can do the math for me, right? What would the answer be, right? $250,000 worth of tokens at an 80% negative drop in price. How much worth of tokens, how many dollars worth of tokens would you still have, right? If somebody could put the answer in the chat real quick. So basically, you want to find 20% of 250,000. That's what you're looking for, right? And I think the answer right there is 50,000. So even with an 80% drop in price, folks, you are still walking away with 5 times what you started with. Now, in any scenario, this is a win because we know that in the traditional markets, 10% a year is people go crazy for that. So to do a 500 return with the market going against you dramatically or drastically still puts you in profit, then you have a good system, is what we are trying to say here. So, folks, this is how you can earn passively inside of JBank's long-term staking model. They're using a proven system that's been around for 5 years already, created by a team who's running an exchange that understands cryptocurrency for the last 13 years with the right resources and partnerships. And they are now building a community on a new blockchain that, based on all types of analytics, has the same trajectory of BNB. So this puts us in a very, very good position. Now, the project will give you 4 reasons why you should be a part of it, right? We'll dive into those 4 reasons. But I want to jump into, let's do the 4 reasons and I'll jump into 4 mechanisms because the reasons are why you should trust them or why you should join them. I'm going to give you 4 mechanisms as to why the math behind it can sustain, right? Now, the first thing is that number one, we know this is created by an exchange. You're using a proven model. They already have built a strong foundation of trust. I mean, 13 years without crashing and closing down shop. That should tell you a lot, right? A lot of exchanges came and went. A lot of them came and went. These guys are older than Binance and they're still around. So that tells us a lot, right? The next is that we earn every 8 hours. So if you're here and you're somebody that loves profit, don't have to wait 24 hours. You can claim your profits every 8 hours. The next is the fact that they are telling you that their token is not just a staking token, money in, money out. JBank, JUP means JBank plus payment. This token is the future payment token of the Jew ecosystem. Real use, real demand, long-term value. And by being an early participant, you will earn the most rewards in tokens. And that puts you at the heart of this project because we are the ones providing the liquidity on chain. The next part is that this is a low entry global opportunity, meaning that you don't have to break the bank to get started. As little as 5 JUP, somewhere around $50 worth of tokens gets you inside of this opportunity. Now, let's look at the 4 mechanisms that can ensure that everything we've seen here continues to stay long-term. Mechanism number one is the fact that, actually 5 mechanisms, right? Mechanism number one, you cannot purchase JUP from any exchange except through the swap feature in the smart contract. This protects us from outside influence. So that's a good thing to have, right? Number two, when it's time to withdraw profit, mechanism number two kicks in. So here you earn through staking. Maybe you put in, let's just say you put in what, $100,000 or something. And in 3-4 days, you earn profits, right? Or you put in $10,000 and within 20 days or something, you earn profits, right? and you decided to claim your profits, right? Okay, I want to claim my profits. Folks, there's no one stopping you. There's no company, there's no middleman. Smart contract, Web3 wallet, blockchain, your funds, your keys, your control. There's a way that they release the tokens. All of this will instantly leave the wallet the minute you hit claim, and they go straight to you. Okay? They all go straight to you. Before they do, there is a liquidity fee that would be taken out if you choose the first option. This liquidity fee is 25%, meaning that if investors stake and withdraw $1 million worth of tokens this month, they are forcing $250,000 worth of liquidity to stay in the system. It does not leave, meaning that the next person can withdraw. Out of these tokens, the liquidity stays, but out of the tokens, they burn half of it. Half of all these tokens are instantly burnt, reducing supply. And that's why you saw in the chart, with all the massive sales, all they do is just grow the liquidity, reduce the supply. Next thing you know, price can't even go down anymore. It stays stable and then starts to go up because there's a lot of liquidity with less tokens. Any movement in buys moves the price. The other half stays to keep some tokens in the system. So I can tell you 97 of community members are choosing this option, and I'll explain why. Not only do we contribute to the success, number one, your tokens get to you at a faster pace. So let's say they took out the fee and you're left with, right? I'll just put a number here, okay? $1,800, right? Now, what this system is saying is that they would divide the tokens you're supposed to receive, your own funds that you withdrew, right? The profits, into 20 days. Not that you have to wait 20 days to get paid. No, they're just breaking it down into 20 pieces. So now at this point, you're going to notice that in your first day, you receive $90. So you can go and sell. Why? They don't want you selling all at once. Imagine they have 500 people, 1,000 people who probably claimed $1,000 and sold. That would be a massive red candle if there's not enough greens to replace it. So you get 90 every day. The next day you come in, there's $90 waiting for you to sell. The next day you come in, there's $90 waiting for you, and they will continue to release this 90. When I say day, I mean the smart contract will continue to release this $90 till day number 20, and you would have noticed that you received everything that you claimed that one day. So this mechanism is mechanism number 2 to ensure that this doesn't become a pump and dump, right? So that's the one thing that we have here that we like about this project. Now, for those of you that are looking to share this opportunity, they do have an affiliate plan. I'm going to dive into it real quickly. Now here, we get paid. This option is not part of it. In fact, let me pull up the new presentation slide. Perfect. Okay. Okay. I want the marketing. Okay. Yes. So we get paid 3 ways, okay? First is direct level. Anyone you share your link with, when they get started, whatever they earn on a daily basis, you're going to get 10%. In fact, every 8 hours when they earn, you receive 10%. So you share your link with me. Let's say I put in 10,000, make $90 a day. You get $9 every day from that $90 profit. The next is the uni level. This refers to the ranks. Now, other similar projects where, there have been some very astronomical figures being earned by affiliates. Folks, if you're on this call, how would you like to be able to earn over $9 million a month, right? There's already people doing this in another Olympus Dao project. So we know that when it comes to really making and creating wealth as an affiliate, yes, there are a lot of projects out there, but I don't see a project that's been around 3-4 years paying out millions to affiliates every month, except for when you're dealing with a decentralized protocol where, once again, you are in control and no company controls your funds, right? So that is one thing that we are seeing. So a lot of people are beginning to lose trust in centralized finance type of projects and are beginning to adopt decentralized finance opportunities because there is at least some level of transparency and control on the user side more than on the company side of things, right? So here we're able to earn, but guess what? We earn unlimited levels, not 10, not 15, not 20, unlimited levels, the volume from your community. Now, there's also the third bonus where if someone is at the same rank as you are, you'll get 10% of the bonus that they collect. So real quick, we want to dive into the presentation. So once again, everyone earns 10% from their directs, what they earn every day, as long as you are active. If you stake, then you can earn. Now with the ranks, is based on your team volume, the number of tokens staked, right? Considering the price is $10, 200 tokens is $2,000 worth of team volume. You are now rank 1. You can do this with one direct. You can go through ranks 1 to 4 with just one direct person, just one person in your entire team, as long as you have the volume, or one person who continues to build going down to create the volume. When you are rank 1, V1, you get 10% of the profit share from the daily rewards. So if this earns, for example, $18 a day, you're going to get $1.80 every day, 10%, right? And this goes to any level, right? So as your team grows, volume grows, you get 10%. And then once you hit 10,000 in volume, you add V2, you're at 20%. If there's no V1 in between you and the volume, you get the whole 20%. If there's a V1, you split 20 minus 10, 10% of the profits coming from that leg, right? Your volume grows again and you're at 20,000 in volume, you're at V3. V3, now you're at 30%. If there's no rank member in between you and the volume, you get the whole 30%. So for example, this will earn about $180 a day in profits if everyone is doing the 365 days, right? So that $180 a day in profit, you can earn 30%, which is $54 a day as a rank 3. Now, whatever part of this volume is from your directs, you get 10% of that daily bonus. Now, even at let's just say $60 a day. So even at $60 a day times 30 days, you can earn over $1,800 a month. Folks, this is rent, mortgage, car note. You can pay monthly for a foreign car, for what they call a luxury vehicle, easily with 20,000 in a volume, one time. This is not recurring. One time volume can pay the rent. One time volume can help improve the life of someone else in the country where this could take care of the family for 6 months. So this is going to be a very, very lucrative opportunity for people that you share with, is what we are trying to say. Right now, V4, 60,000 in volume, guess what? You add 40%. So if there's no one in between that volume, do the math, right? You're going to get the whole 40% of $540 a day, plus whatever is coming from your directs. But if there's anyone between that, you subtract the difference, okay? Now, when you continue further, the next rank is called V5. Now, V5, you need $100,000 worth of volume. If the price is, we're considering $10 of the price, you need 2 legs, one V4, one V3. So now we know that in order to max this entire comp plan, all you need is 2 legs, 2 teams that are building. That's it. It's not a binary, it's unilevel. But if you can get 2 teams, right? Let's make it V3. And it don't have to be your directs. It could be anyone on any level of the organization who ranks up, and they take you to the next rank. You could be at 50% check match, but because you're splitting the difference between the different legs, we know that on average, most V5s are averaging about $140 to about $200 a day. Yes, you heard that, every day. So even at $150 a day times 30 days, that is $4,500 a month for doing the work one time to produce 100,000 in volume across 2 legs monthly for just this volume. I know opportunities where you'd have to do $1 million to probably get a monthly residual check of $4,500. Now, because you are a rank 5, understand that when you build other legs, right? You can call those investors. You can have multiple teams, right? 2 is just the minimum requirement to max the comp plan. Let's say you have other teams wide who put in an extra $100,000 and none of them hit any rank. They're all just investors. What do you think happens at that point, right? This could 100,000 in volume earns about $900 a day at 0.9. 50% puts you at $450 a day. You heard me right, folks. Every single day. That is replacing the 9 to 5. That is probably even replacing the small business for some people when you put the overhead and all that kind of stuff together, right? So at that point, individuals can find themselves earning $13,000 a month from team that is wide that didn't rank up. You add that to that $4,500, and right there, we hit that good number, $18,000 a month, which we have been telling people that this is what's possible here with only 200,000 involved as a V5, right? So then you can see the other ranks. So you can see that the next rank is V6. You need 2 teams that produce 200,000 in volume. You can have other legs wide and you get a bigger profit share. V7, 600,000 in volume, 2 teams, 70%. V8, $1 million. V9, 2 million in volume. V10, 4 million, and V10 plus 10 million, you get a special 20% override on the whole team down to infinity. Folks, that is huge, right? So this is the comp plan presented by JBank, right? This is from the official material. Now, we want to talk about mechanism number 3, because to me, I think the mechanisms for sustainability are very important because we can see there's a lot of profits to be earned both on the passive side and on the commission side. So what other mechanisms other than 1 and 2 do they have to ensure that they can stabilize this token? Now your commissions go in a separate wallet called the commission wallet. Also, commissions have a 25% liquidity fee. This is good because we know affiliates will always make a lot in profits to pull out from the liquidity. And this is the reason why many projects do not sustain, because once they start to pay out massive commissions and there's no mechanism in place, token depreciation, very rapid. Liquidity drain out, very rapid, because there's no inflow to replace the outflow. They solved this problem already. 25% of all liquidity that would leave through commissions stays in the system. So when you hit claim, for example, if affiliates claimed $1 million this month, 250,000 in LP stays so that the next person who earns can withdraw. Half of all those tokens, the millions that affiliates are going to earn, half of those fee tokens are burnt, drastically reducing the supply, which can cause a downward price to stabilize or start to grow in price. Same mechanism. Once you do that, Everything leaves that wallet, goes to you. So in this scenario, they take the liquidity fee out, 25%. Out of this, you're left with $750. Rather than give you that $750 instantly so you can sell all at once and drop the price, it's going to be divided across 7 days. Why? Because affiliates produce a lot of effort to help the system grow. Affiliates will get commissions at a faster rate than their staking profits. So here they divide that 750 by 7. So at this point, you would probably be collecting about $107 a day, which you can sell every day. And that's much better on the charts than a sell of 750 at once. And this is what this mechanism does. Mechanism number 3 on the commissions. Okay. So by day number 7, you would have got the whole thing. Okay. So that's good to have. Now there's another option, but I can tell you 97% of community members do not want to see their commissions split across 60 days when they can get it in 7 and go do important things with that liquidity, right? So this is what most people are choosing, but yes, this option also exists, okay? So now we've covered the third mechanism. We want to look at some quick income projections here, folks. Nothing here is a guarantee. There's a few factors you have to put in the work. Number 1. Number 2, the price of this token, if it stays consistent, then you can have these consistent numbers. If there's a drop in price, you can then equate that to a little bit of drop in these amounts. At the same time, if the price doubles, then you find yourself in another exciting situation. And we've seen this thing grow 20-something% since we got in late August. Sorry, I mean, not in late August, but about 2 months ago. We got in 2 months ago. And we've seen this thing literally go up 20%. A year from now, it would not be surprising if it's up 100%. Right? So you can see people already collecting, right? Now, once again, it all depends on your structure, but V1s can easily earn $300 a month. V2 is $500. We did the numbers already. V3s, $1,800. We did the numbers, almost $2,000 a day. Sorry, a month. Right? We did the numbers. There was a V8 in Japan. He's already doing about close to $2,000 a day. That's almost $60,000 a month. We know of a V10 doing somewhere between $150,000 to $200,000 a month because of how his structure is designed. You can have a structure that would pay you $1 million a month, even as a V8. Remember, if you have more investors wide and V10 plus, then you're definitely securing your seat on that $1 million monthly ticket. So folks, this is a great opportunity if you ask me. Real quick, just want to touch on a few things with this opportunity. There is one more mechanism, number 5. There is what we call a buy and sell tax on coins. Some coins have it, some coins don't. Here, there is no buy tax, meaning that if you invest $10,000 into your token and you stake, the whole $10,000 goes to earn. There is no fee, no commission, nothing. The whole thing goes to earn. When you now extract your JUP and you sell it back to USDT, there's a coin tax of 5%. This also goes to the ecosystem. There's no company or individual collecting these fees to dump. All goes back to us. Partners, team, ecosystem. This is affiliates that are probably V10 or something that get this commission, right? So this brings us to the end of the presentation slide. Now, folks, this would alone is more than exciting, but I would tell you that there is something even much more exciting you want to hear about, and that has to do with the utility already available for the community. You know, a lot of projects they launch and they now try to gather funds to launch their ecosystem. But because we're dealing with Ju.com, they already have the ecosystem, they have the partnerships, they have the technology. They do not need our funds to build anything. What they need is wallets wallets desperately. They need wallets on their blockchain to use the products that they launch. 4.4 million. That's nothing in the terms of in the blockchain world. What kind of applications do they already have? Folks, go and look at it. In fact, they even have a grant here. If you want to launch your own project, you submit it. If you're lucky, they sponsor it, right? They only have one project that they backed fully, right? Which is the JBank. Now, when you look here, you see they have a whole ecosystem, right? DeFi, they got DeFi, exchanges, all that kind of stuff. Infrastructure projects already built, right? With different partners. They have launch pads already. You launch your own meme coins, all that kind of stuff. They have games you can play already on chain, but they just don't have enough wallets. So hopefully all these different protocols will begin to attract more and more users. And that is why we are early in adoption. But there's already one utility, and this is the bank card. Now, this bank card is not your everyday prepaid crypto card. We have a crypto card type of deal. This is an actual bank. They go by the name of JBank. And they have partnered with JBank to issue out these JAT cards. So once you receive your card, right, there's a way you get the card. I'll go over it. You're going to download the app called JAT Pay, okay, which is one of the services that they provide. This bank has a banking license number that, with the same bank structure as Citibank, Bank of America. They're a legitimate bank. Been around since 2021. They have their own SWIFT code. So actually, we are hearing that very soon we'll be able to activate our foreign currency accounts inside of the JAT Pay app, meaning that users who are in JBank can also send and receive wire transactions and convert to crypto as well, and vice versa. So you download this app. Once you get your card, you connect it, and you can start to spend crypto on that card by sending it into this app, okay? But how do you get the card? The card is free. Folks, the card is free. The requirement is that you have to stake at least 300 JUP, which is about $3,000 today, in a 365-day contract. Then you can apply for the card. They will mail it, the physical card, to your address. It's not a virtual card. They will mail the physical card to your address, powered by JAT Pay. Let's look at some of the limits on this card, right? Now here you can top up the card with USDT, either BEP20, ERC20, or TRC20. The fees, relatively one of the cheapest on the market, only 1.5% when you use the card at the POS or at the ATM. Every month you spend only $1 to maintain your card. When you do a transaction, your limit per transaction is $20,000. You can do as many of these transactions until you hit your daily limit of $500,000 per day. So one thing that I've been saying on these calls is that just imagine you walked into a financial institution that says, hey, we have a new chain of products now, new line of products. We are offering you a high savings yield account on chain where you stake your crypto and earn high yield. Now, not only do you gain a yield of 0.9% a day, you are granted, or you are grandfathered, or you're given our elite Visa business card that has a high spending limit of $500,000. Now, remember, you can also use the rewards that you earn from your high savings yield account, converted to USDT, put it on your card, and spend that. Hence, your card is taking care of your bills for free. Would you like to sign up to this? And when you tell anyone who's well-informed a statement like this, the only answer they have is yes, I'm ready. No, I don't have the money now, but how can I still get started? That's it. Right? So folks, we have a very solid opportunity with enough solid marketing around it enough, legitimacy around who's behind it, enough dynamics behind the tokenomics to ensure that we have a long-term project. So I want to say thank you for coming on this call. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.